All right, guys, so we got some breaking news about Steve Bannon, or as Trump lovingly called him when he was mad at him for a little bit, Sloppy Steve, which, by the way, I think I've never laughed so hard in my life the first time he tweeted, "Sloppy Steve is doing this and this. I don't like it one bit." That's such a classic Trump move.
How did Bannon went out in like a crazy way. Remember he like called up a reporter and said somebody was a cocksucker or something. Remember?
Honestly, I don't remember the specifics. All I remember is the Trump tweet that said "Sloppy Steve."
Wild, yeah.
But it's funny because apparently, Bannon kissed the ring after that or whatever and got right back in his good graces because he got pardoned by him. But anyway, so Steve Bannon was just sentenced to 4 months in jail and a $6,500 fine on 2 counts of contempt of Congress. This is because he was subpoenaed to talk in front of the January 6th committee, and he basically told them to fuck off. Now, I will say, though, it apparently was, his sentence is stayed until upon appeal. So that means he's not going to go to prison right now. There's going to be an appeal. We'll see what they say when, the next court says on it. But,
I mean, ultimately, this was a pretty open and shut case.
Well, they said...
You were subpoenaed. You didn't show. That's pretty much the entirety of the case here.
Well, one of the points that the judge made was that there's a mandatory minimum of at least 1 month behind bars.
Right.
And so he sentenced him to 4 months.
So he's almost certainly getting at least a month.
Right, correct. And of course, he's, trying to make himself a martyr and a victim like he always does.
Yeah.
But what I said to you when we learned this, and that it was over the contempt of Congress thing, is that I think the even stronger case is the one on the Build the Wall scam. Because, they went after him federally over that, but then Trump pardoned him after he was indicted. And so he got off scot-free on that front. But now the state of New York is going after him for the fraud charges in the Build the Wall thing, and Trump can't pardon him, at the state level. If the state goes after him, there's nothing Trump could do, and he's obviously not president anymore either, right? So I think he's going to go down even harder over that. What do you think?
I mean, certainly, if there is any justice, he should. That scheme always just was so disgusting to me. Obviously, I don't agree with the building the wall and the private funding of the whole thing is, obviously not in alignment with my political ideology. But you just taking advantage of these people and lying to them and defrauding them, it's really, really disgusting. And the founder of this thing, they were buying yachts, and it was so incredibly flagrant and disgraceful. So
the guy's name was Brian Kolfage. It was Steve Bannon's partner in this. And, the details in the reporting on it were out of this world.
And
how,
like
you said,
all over Fox News and stuff at the height of this scam. It's just
they're buying yachts. They're taking millions of dollars for themselves. They're paying off personal credit card debt and shit like that.
Traveling
and I remember covering it at the time, Crystal, and I actually got some shit over it. There were some people in my own audience, granted probably not the regular viewers because he seemed like far right people who were commenting, but they were basically like, no, this isn't a scam, and somebody's got to build a wall. And I was like, did you not listen to a single word I said in the video? Because I explained very clearly how they don't have the legal authority to build it. You can't build a private border wall along thousands of miles of public land.
Right.
You have to buy up all the land that's for sale, by the way. Not all the land is for sale. Some of it's just public land that's not even for sale, right? So you have to buy up all the land and then build, do your own border wall. They hadn't even bought the property, and they're saying, we're going to build the border wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was a total scam from the beginning. It was so obvious that it was a scam. But they raised millions and millions. I don't remember the exact number, but it was millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. It was, like I said, it was highly touted in conservative media. This was all the rage for a while, and they just completely defrauded people. So, yeah, I think he still has to go to trial over that one. We'll see what happens there. But I know he's out until the appeals are settled on this contempt of Congress thing, but I can't possibly see this going another way. He, in typical Bannonian fashion, came out and gave some dramatic press conference afterwards and was like, this is my judgment day, but the judgment day for Democrats and Merrick Garland and Nancy Pelosi is coming on November 8th, and the American people are going to have their say about the January 6th committee, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, I know the Democrats wish that November was going to be more about January 6th. They would do a lot better than they're probably going to ultimately do here, but yeah, it's very narcissist, as if the election was some fucking referendum on how we feel about Steve Bannon.
Yeah, dude.
And as if that would go well for him if it was that.
I hate this fucking guy, because he postures like he's some sort of populist and crusader for the people, and it's like, you are just a standard
You're just a fraud.
far-right crank and a fraud, and it's so fucking obvious. By the way, the Department of Justice was asking for, in this case, not the build the wall one, but in this particular case about contempt of Congress, they wanted 6 months in jail and a $200,000 fine. So the fact there was only, you know, $6,500 and 4 months.
It seems like the fine should be a lot more given how much money he's accused of taking.
Since that was unrelated, this again.
Oh,
is
that's
for,
right.
This isn't for the build the wall thing.
Right.
This is for the contempt of Congress thing.
But
But I still think that's a fair point because it's like this fucking guy scammed how many people out of millions of dollars, and now it's just like these little slaps on the wrist for flagrant violations of the law. You know, it's obnoxious. But anyway, I do think he's going to go down even harder for the build the wall thing. So I guess we'll find out soon enough.
I guess we will see what happens to Sloppy Steve.